June unemployment report is out, and unemployment is at 9.2%, and underemployment is at 16.2%. What do you think about that?
Well, the government keeps saying that things are getting better, but I think everything's still the same and it's going down. It's still going down, actually.
The highest number of unemployed is teens at 24.5%, and blacks are at 16.1%. What can be done to help these workers?
So you mean the teens?
Mm-hmm.
Teens? Well, I think they should be in school and work. They prepare themselves more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Government payrolls are down for 8 straight months. Is this good or bad that the government is cutting payrolls?
I think it's bad. I think it's well, that's all I can say. Yeah.
Do you work for the government?
Nope.
Do you have any other closing remarks before you go?
No.
All right, well, thank you very much for talking with us on Wall Street.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
The June unemployment report is out, and unemployment is at 9.2%, and underemployment is at 16.2%. What do you think about that?
I think that's kind of bad right now that a lot of employers aren't taking risks of hiring people because they pay more for people who work overtime and those who will pay minimum wage. I think it's kind of bad that they should take that risk. There's people who are hard workers out there who will work the hours, work the flexible hours. There's people out there that needs work right now.
So instead of overtime, you're saying people should be
working minimum time around.
So what do you think about the French work week, only 30 hours?
I think that's okay. I think it works out for a lot of people.
So more people would be employed then?
Mm-hmm. More people would be employed.
The highest number of unemployed is teens at 24.5%, and then blacks at 16.1%. What can be done to help these workers?
Well, for teens, I am a teenager. The employers think that teens will be irresponsible and won't take the work seriously, but if the teens show just enough enthusiasm for the work, they can get the work. And for blacks, it's just sometimes it's for racial looks or certain things, but if they talk with the right amount of ethical courtesy, then I'm pretty sure they could get the job. It's just a matter of appearance sometimes, occasionally.
So do you think discrimination still happens?
It does. Unfortunately, nowadays it still does.
So the government payrolls are down for 8 straight months. Is this good or bad that the government is cutting payments?
This is bad because there are people out there who have to pay their rent, have to pay schools, and it is bad that the government is cutting back on that because people depend on that money to pay their rent, to pay their cars, to pay the bills and all that.
Okay. Do you have anything else you'd like to say before we go?
No, that's just it. Just that things can change. Things can change for the better if everyone the government including too, just pitches in a little bit to help everybody out, not just the big companies. It's small people too with the small chains need help too,
Thank you very much for talking with us.
Okay, you're welcome.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Outstanding, thank you.
Yes, me too. The June unemployment report is out, and unemployment is at 9.2%, and underemployment is at 16.2%. What do you think about that?
I mean, with the state of the economy, it doesn't surprise me. So many people have lost their jobs over the past couple of years, so that sounds about right.
Why do you think people are losing their jobs?
Well, I mean, when you look at the fact that commerce isn't really moving, when you have the government deciding to give the money to the financial institutions instead of the small businessmen and call it a bailout, and they're not, giving any credit out, they're not doing anything. It's like, small businesses are dying, and so, they're not hiring anybody.
Right. Well, the highest number of unemployed is teens at 24.5%, and then blacks at 16.1%. What could be done to help these people out?
Well, I think that's when you look at teens and blacks, you're probably dealing mostly with education. Like, I mean, most teenagers are, you know, at the most have a high school diploma, and in a lot of the black neighborhoods, the high schools aren't even competitive, so they can't, you know, it's probably a long shot to get into a school, let alone like an Ivy League school, and you're dealing with, you know, financial issues as far as, you know, paying for school and those things. So it sounds to me like the teenage and blacks, like that's the highest level of unemployment. Also seems like it'd be the lowest level of education, though.
You're right, there might be some correlation between the two. On another topic, the government payrolls are going down for 8 straight months. Is this good or bad that the government is cutting payrolls?
Well, you know, I mean, to me, it's kind of a warning sign, because it's like whenever they start messing with their own pockets, it must be an issue somewhere. You know, that's probably, you know, I'm sure that has to be the last resort. So, you know, that's probably an issue with that. It kind of worries me a little bit.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers at home?
Well, I just say, you know, most important thing to do is to educate yourself in whatever field you're trying to be in, and I mean, that's what's really going to get you to the next level, you know, because you have master degree holders out here competing for minimum wage jobs nowadays, so it's like education is definitely the way to go.
I agree. Thank you very much for talking with us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks. The June unemployment report is out, and unemployment is at 9.2%. Underemployment is at 16.2%. What do you think about that?
It's pretty bad. That's what I think.
What do you think the reasons are that we're becoming a nation of unemployed people?
I guess kids and teenagers not having money and not having the resources to go get a job and stuff.
Right. The highest number of unemployed is teens at 24.5%, and then blacks at 16.1%. What could be done to help these workers?
I don't know. Sorry.
The government payrolls are down for 8 straight months. Is this good or bad that the government is cutting payrolls?
That's bad.
Why do you think the government is making such short change for its workers?
I don't know.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, thank you.
All right. The June unemployment report is out, and unemployment is at 9.2%, and underemployment is at 16.2%. What do you think about this?
That sucks. That's pretty bad.
Why do you think so many people are unemployed?
Because the U.S. ships jobs to India. Like my T-Mobile, when I call T-Mobile customer care, it's never someone in this country.
The highest number of unemployed is teens at 24.5%, and then blacks at 16.1%. What can be done to help these workers?
Like a motivation class or something. I don't know.
So you think that motivation is part of the problem?
Yeah. They're just not motivated enough to get work.
Government payrolls are down for 8 straight months. Is this good or bad that the government is cutting paychecks?
Wait, people's paychecks or paychecks for the government?
Government paychecks for people.
Oh, that's bad. But the debt ceiling is like real close, so they have to.
So you're saying that it's a good thing that the government is helping?
Yeah. Didn't really understand the question.
That's okay. All right, let's try it. You know, government workers, you know, whoever earns money from your taxes, they're cutting those people's money.
So like post office worker?
Anyone who makes money from your taxes, they're cutting their wage.
Oh, so it's bad.
You want to ask a question?
Yeah. Government payrolls are down for 8 straight months. Is this good or bad that the government is cutting down payrolls?
Bad that they're cutting payrolls.
Why is it bad?
Wait, didn't you say the government's taking money from their checks?
Forget it. It's a shitty question.
Okay, alright.
I'm Canadian, that's my excuse.
Yeah, it's a rule.
Do you have anything else to say towards the end?
I love Obama.
Thank you. The June unemployment report is out, and unemployment is at 9.2%, and underemployment is at 16.2%. What do you think about that?
Well, actually, yeah, I saw the numbers, and then it was like a real surprise to the folks here on Wall Street that it was so bad. It was like really, really bad. It really surprised a lot of people how bad things really were. They thought it was getting good, but yeah, it's really bad.
Why do you think things are so bad?
Shit, I really got nothing.
Okay. The highest number of unemployed is teens at 24.5%, and then blacks at 16.1%. What can be done to help these workers?
Well, with blacks, you know, you don't want to say it, but there probably is discrimination. And then I know some other people were saying that it was, you know, the way they dress and stuff like that. It's like if they dress and act professional, it's not an issue, but a lot of them have that urban culture, and it actually hurts them in the job force. You know, you got to look like the job that you want to get instead of, you know, whatever feels right. If you look the part, it shouldn't be an issue, but there probably is racism. As far as teens, it's just an easy group to discriminate against because lack of experience. And if you don't get experience, you never will. So for teens, it's probably best for them to actually start their own business.
It sounds like you're saying that most employers only hire people like them, and maybe there's not a lot of black employers.
It may actually be the case. I do know in my dad, when he was dealing with the government, various sectors of the contracts only hired you based by certain race. So while he was working in the subway sector, it was this section of the thing had black, this section of the section had Hispanics, this section had Jewish. You know, it's like every mile of the Los Angeles subway had a different race doing it. Until you got out into the valley, you know, you started seeing whites. But when they built the subway in LA, every mile or two had a different ethnic group. And he was like the only white guy working for a Hispanic company. So we're probably hurting ourselves with racial quotas because he couldn't get a job, and he saw that, you know, the whole system downtown or in Hollywood when they were building subway here was all racially divided. So these government quotas actually may be hurting. I got it.
Government payrolls are currently being cut. What do you think about that?
Well, the government payrolls are cut because the governments can't balance their budgets. So they need to be responsible, and, you know, they need to collect tax. You know, we need tax simplification because the rich say they don't want to, you know, because everyone says blame the rich and tax them more, but the rich kind of can say, if you tax us, we can't give you jobs. So they need to actually just simplify the tax code and just make a flat tax for everyone and get rid of all these loopholes, and they'll just simplify things and make it so much easier if we had a flat tax.
That's a wonderful idea. Thank you for talking with us. Do you have any last comments?
The governments need to balance their budgets and clean up their acts, and business, you know, the business people need to stop being so greedy and cut their paychecks so they can hire more people. And once those people are hired, they can stimulate the economy and people will start having jobs again. Let's try that a little. Employers need to stop being so greedy and give up some of their wages so they can hire more people. And once they hire more people, they can stimulate the economy and more people will be working.
Thank you very much for talking with us.